From the Cronkite studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
We've escalated the rollout of body-worn cameras, and by the end of August, all of our frontline officers will be wearing one.
Tonight, police body cams roll out. Do they really improve transparency and protect the public?
Plus, the fight over extending the light rail continues tonight as voters get ready to decide its fate.
And ASU scientists get one step closer to unlocking the mysteries of photosynthesis.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening, I'm Jessie Jo Pauley.
And I'm Matt Hogeson. Thank you for joining us. Our big story tonight, the rollout of body cameras. With tensions between Phoenix police and people wary of law enforcement on the rise in recent weeks.
Some say deploying officers with body-worn cameras may be one solution to increase accountability, while others question whether looking through a camera lens will lead to solutions. With 2 clicks of a button, this police body camera starts recording. Anti-police brutality activists and police advocates alike say requiring patrol officers to use cameras during public encounters may well be one solution to repairing community police relations.
The public has a huge vested interest to make sure that things are well represented. And for law enforcement, they want their work to be represented in the best possible way. According
to the National Police Foundation, the Phoenix Police Department was involved in a record-breaking 44 officer-involved shootings in 2018, the most since they started tracking them back in 2009. And after this viral video from May of Phoenix police pointing a gun at a couple and their children after the daughter walked out of a Family Dollar store with a doll they didn't purchase, people began demanding answers and solutions. One of those solutions? Body-worn cameras. Scottsdale-based tech company Axon has a 5-year contract with the city of Phoenix to provide 2,000 cameras to the force.
We've escalated the rollout of body-worn cameras, and by the end of August, all of our frontline officers will be wearing one.
The camera is designed to make it easy to use, while purposefully being tougher for an officer to turn it off.
You have to be very, very intentional, a very long press to stop recording.
Noel Rosen is the founder of Rally for Law Enforcement, and he believes body cameras will show a different viewpoint.
It's been a good tool to combat the other side's narrative. When they say, this happened, well, the body cam video will show another perspective. It'll show what the officers actually had to go through at that moment in time.
Others hope the camera will expose questionable police behavior.
If you're going to spend money in the police department, let's record everything.
And then there are activists who say the money being spent on body cameras should go somewhere else completely.
All of the time that they spend investing in equipment and more officers and implicit bias trainings, all of that energy could be focused on the community itself.
Criminology and criminal justice professor William Terrell explains that even with the introduction of body cameras, successfully improving police-community relationships will depend on communication.
I think the police department reaching out to community beforehand and building social capital, that's important to say, this is what we're trying to accomplish with body-worn cameras. It's not going to be a perfect system. No technology is. It's not going to all of a sudden be this perfect storm where we wake up tomorrow and everything's better, so to speak.
Other proposed solutions include adding a citizens review board and improving software technology. But for now, body cameras will provide the public with a glimpse of what happens through an officer's lens. Axon says the future of body cameras includes live streaming to improve accuracy and effectiveness.
Right now, the Arizona Department of Public Safety is investigating a deadly wrong-way crash on the Loop 101 in Glendale last night. Authorities say one person was killed and another injured. Wrong-way crashes have been an ongoing issue in the state of Arizona, even though the Arizona Department of Transportation installed a wrong-way driver detection system about 2 years ago. The award-winning project includes a network of 90 thermal cameras along a 15-mile stretch of Interstate 17 in Phoenix. The system is designed to alert ADOT and the Arizona Department of Public Safety the moment one of those cameras spots a wrong-way driver.
It cannot stop someone from being, say, an impaired driver and making that bad decision to get behind the wheel. But what we can do is try to reduce the risk of some of the tragic things we're seeing out there.
The director of the Governor's Office of Highway Safety says he thinks the technology will prevent more and more wrong-way drivers from reaching the road.
The Valley finally saw its first big night of monsoon storms. Many of you taking to social media to share your incredible images and videos with us.
Lori tweeted this beautiful photo, perfectly displaying what a Phoenix storm looks like. Sunset on one side and lightning bolt on the other.
Check out Carrie's video from her backyard, showing the whipping winds and rain coming down in all directions.
And Danielle gave us a look at the aftermath. The winds were so strong, reportedly reaching up to 70 miles per hour in some areas. Nikisha Johnson is standing by now with a look at what's to come later tonight. Nikisha?
Yes, we're going to be getting more storms all through tonight and all across the valley. Here in Phoenix, we're expecting a 30% chance of rain. Up north in Flagstaff, they're expecting 50% chance, and Sedona is expecting a 40% chance of rain. So we will be seeing it all over the valley tonight. But if you do want to escape the rain, I suggest going down to Yuma because they're getting nothing but clear skies tonight. For your full weather forecast, keep tuning in because it will be up shortly.
Developing now, Arizona's Attorney General Mark Brnovich is suing the owners of a big pharma company on behalf of the state. He filed the lawsuit this morning. Cronkite News spoke with the Attorney General about why he filed it. Reporter Tanaya Williamson joins us live from the control room with more. Tanaya?
The Attorney General today was adamant that someone needs to be held responsible for the opioid crisis affecting Arizona. This morning, the state of Arizona filed a lawsuit asking the justices of the Supreme Court to order members of the Sackler family, which owns Purdue Pharma, to give back what the state says are billions of dollars taken from the company. Purdue Pharma has been one of the main manufacturers of OxyContin.
We have previously filed a lawsuit against the pharmaceutical company, that is Purdue, but what this lawsuit is it is asking the U.S. Supreme Court to allow us to go after the individuals that profited and controlled Purdue Pharma.
According to court documents, Purdue is accused of transferring billions of dollars out of the company and transferring it to members of the Sackler family while facing financial liabilities for its alleged role in creating the opioid crisis. Some, however, consider the lawsuit to be a long shot. Paul Bender, a professor at Arizona State University's Sandra Day O'Connor College of Law, says he doesn't see why the Supreme Court would make an exception to this case. In a statement, he writes, "I don't see anything here that would lead the Supreme Court to make an exception here and take this case immediately. Almost always, they want the lower court decision before they decide to take the case. But Attorney General Brnovich believes going to the Supreme Court is the quickest way to get results and make a lot of noise.
We believe what that'll do is make it easier and quicker and faster to ensure that people that help create this crisis are held financially responsible.
People are getting really frustrated with what they see is happening is this overprescription of opioid sales that for cases that really don't need it. When people are coming in for chronic pain issues or commonplace pain issues, they really should not be prescribed opioids.
According to the Arizona Department of Health Services, there have been 3,370 opioid-related deaths in Arizona in the last 2 years. Live in the control room, Tanaya Williamson, Cronkite News.
New info tonight. The Arizona Secretary of State's office released its quarterly report on voter registration, showing a slight bump. The increase indicates more people are interested in participating in their local and state government. It also shows Arizona has registered nearly 50,000 voters in the last 4 months. There are currently 3.8 million active registered voters and 400,000 inactive. Inactive status is assigned to voters whose election mail is returned undeliverable.
Today marks the beginning of early voting here in Arizona, and there's a proposition on the ballot that could either stop or continue the expansion of the light rail into areas of South Phoenix.
Cronkite News reporter Marcela Baeto spoke today with both sides of the hotly debated, and I'm still sure confusing, issue. Marcela?
Those for the light rail expansion are saying that this could positively impact the transportation system here in Phoenix, while those against it are saying that it will be bad for businesses in the area.
Can we uninvite the yes people, please?
Both sides of Prop 105 coming face to face at the Ed Pastor Transit Center in Phoenix. Prop 105 is on this year's ballot, and with early voting starting today, citizens are already deciding. But there's confusion surrounding the vote, since voting yes would actually mean a vote to stop the light rail expansion, while voting no would mean a green light for extending it. Kimberly Vallon, a South Phoenix plant nursery owner, says if the light rail is extended, her livelihood is at stake, since the expansion would create construction and turn away customers.
I'm going to go under, and I don't have a plan B. I have plan A, and that was to build my business, I was doing a very great job. And now it's like sitting on pins and needles every day waiting on this stupid vote that is completely backward.
Those on the other side say the measure is actually a positive for businesses in the area.
I think it will be much better for the businesses if there's like a slow traffic, because that way when you're in the slower traffic, then you can see what kind of businesses you have there. It will totally benefit our community.
Advocates for the expansion say by voting no, the extended light rail would alleviate traffic, help the environment, and improve access to more areas within Phoenix.
Getting from one place to the next, it's going to be a lot easier, it's going to be quicker, and so that's the whole point why we're fighting for this.
Valen says a representative from the city of Phoenix visited her business a few weeks ago to address the light rail expansion issue.
She said for at least 1.5 to 2 years we wouldn't be able to get any customers, that we needed to think of another way because will be no access off of Central Avenue into our nursery.
We reached out to the city of Phoenix in regards to the exchange that Ms. Valen described, and they said that they are currently looking into it. Live in downtown Phoenix, Marcela Bayeto, Cronkite News.
Coming up next on Cronkite News, people may say that politics drives them to drink, but that's not necessarily a bad thing in Washington, where bars have been busy with watch parties for the second Democratic presidential debate this week. I'll have that story next.
And Bulletproof Backpacks. Are they really necessary as we get ready to start the new school year? You decide after the break.
All of its children had come to the Mother Church of Country Music. It was almost like a badge of honor that you had to bring your culture with you to the table. That's why Bob Wills and his guys brought us Western music. That's why Hank Williams brought the South with him from Honky Tonks. Johnny Cash brought the black land dirt of Arkansas. Bill Monroe brought music out of Kentucky bluegrass music. Willie Nelson brought his poetry from Texas. Patsy Cline brought her heartache from Virginia. I mean, it was the most wonderful parade of sons and daughters of America that brought their hearts and their souls and their experiences, and it gave us a great era in country music.
You may be glued to your seat when part 2 of the Democratic presidential debate airs tonight.
But in Washington, some viewers will be glued to their bar stools instead as they watch the show. Cronkite News reporter Julian Paras had the tough job of going to bars in D.C. today to bring us this story. Julian?
When the hometown team is playing, it's not unusual to find the game tuned in at bars around town. But what happens when your hometown sport is politics? Well, locals go to the bars and turn on the game. And tonight, that means tuning in to the second night of the Democratic presidential debates at bars like the Hawk and Dove, just blocks from the U.S. Capitol. The bar is offering specials on pizzas and drinks, and lots of TV screens for patrons.
I hope that tonight we get a lot of, good questions, good answers from people, and we learn what their policies are.
Policies are not the only thing separating tonight's spectacle from any other sporting event. Hawk and Dove General Manager Angela Walker said the place was packed last night for the first part of the debate, but bargoers were mostly silent.
It was very quiet because everyone was stopping what they were doing and paying attention to the TVs and listening.
But when the debate got rowdy last night with outbursts from Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders,
Second of all, I do know, and I wrote the damn bill.
And tweet-worthy retorts from Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren,
we are the Democrats. We are not about trying to take away health care from anyone.
The bar got a little loud too. Walker said the bar erupted in discussion during commercial breaks.
You'll definitely hear the discussions that are going on and people's views and what they're for, if they're for this candidate or if they're not for this candidate, and why they're not.
One other thing that may be different from sports viewing in bars, Walker says these fans tend to keep it civil. The Hawk and Dove is not the only bar in town that expects patrons or is offering specials. For tonight's debate, we also spoke to a number of other bars that will have their own viewings as well. In Washington, Julian Paras, Cronkite News.
LGBTQ employees often face discrimination in the workplace, according to a national study and some members of the community. We spoke to a local CEO who's achieved business success, but says as a gay man, he's had struggles in the workplace.
Jobs that I've had in the past, I've definitely hidden my sexuality because I didn't feel comfortable with who I was and was afraid of the judgment that I would receive. There's times that it's very disheartening to see that just my sexuality would have someone have a different opinion of me and not give me the chance to really show them what we're capable of doing as an agency. There's a lot of staggering statistics even today that there's just a lot of people that are not accepted in the workspace from an LGBTQ standpoint.
According to a 2017 Human Rights Campaign Foundation survey, 1 out of 10 LGBTQ workers left a job because it was unaccepting. 2 out of 10 avoided work bonding activities like happy hour or lunch with colleagues. And 5 out of 10 are closeted at work.
With students and their parents out back to school shopping right now, there's a lot of talk on social media about buying bulletproof backpacks.
You can buy them online for a hefty price, but are they necessary and do they even work?
Many parents think if students have to put their backpacks against a wall or hang them up in a classroom, then there's really no point. But others say at least their child will be protected while walking down the hallway or going to and from school. And they can always go grab them if they need them.
So we want to hear from you now. Do you think bulletproof backpacks are too extreme or necessary precaution? Dylan said it's very extreme and definitely not necessary. And Deb tweeted, while it might alleviate the worries of parents, the idea induces stress levels for the students no matter what age. It's not too late to join the conversation. Just go to our Cronkite News Twitter feed and chime in. What makes photosynthesis work so well? Well, even scientists have trouble answering that question, but they're getting closer to figuring it out. We'll explain next.
Noticias is the Spanish-speaking division of Cronkite News, covering topics such as economics, education, sustainability, immigration, and border relations. Cronkite Noticias strives to serve the Spanish-speaking community in Arizona. Under the guidance of prominent Spanish-speaking professionals, students at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism develop content for our broadcast partner, Univision, as well as on Facebook and Twitter. Explore Cronkite Noticias at cronkitenoticias.azpbs.org.
Without photosynthesis, plants would not be able to grow food, which means life on the planet Earth wouldn't be possible. But how does it function so well?
A team of scientists from Arizona State University has taken a significant step closer to unlocking those secrets. Take a look.
We all know about photosynthesis, like, somebody says, oh, that's green. What is the green? It's chlorophyll, they say. Well, that's basically what we try to study. We try to understand the structure of those proteins so we can start thinking about how they function as well. Just general understanding of how nature uses light energy to drive the metabolism of living organisms is super important.
This is what Chris Gisreel's lab looks like on most days. But when he's studying photosynthesis, it looks like this. There is nothing wrong with your TV. The room is kept in green light to keep from damaging the photosensitive samples.
Plants reflect green, right? That's why they look green outside. So when we only have green light, they're not being excited by any of that light. They never even access that energy. So the oxygen never gets the energy to be able to be harmful to it.
Gisreel hopes to find out why photosynthetic organisms are so efficient.
It has implications whether it's in biofuels or how we construct solar cells and things like that. But a little more specifically, if we can change how it is that we can collect sunlight and give that technology to engineers, for example, then we can make solar cells better.
Right now, the project is in the collection stage, and the researchers are analyzing plant samples grown in small beakers and large algae reactors. Cryo-EM, or cryo-electron microscopy, is a research technique that freezes a sample in very low temperatures before using a powerful electron microscope to take images of it. It is a popular method to look at materials at the atomic level because it does not damage delicate systems. The scientists then look at how these crystals diffract light. Then they work backwards to calculate the structure of the photosystem. This is the first step in understanding the evolutionary marvel of photosynthesis.
If we can understand how nature has tuned that process over the past 3.5 billion years, then we should pretty easily be able to bring that technology to engineers and say, how can we make this work for us for the betterment of mankind?
Understanding the complexity and functions of photosynthesis will help to ensure a stable energy supply for the planet Earth. As you know, this is one of the biggest challenges for scientists of the 21st century.
Fees could be going up at a large campground near the Grand Canyon's South Rim entrance. A plan by the Kaibab National Forest would more than double the overnight fees for single sites from $10 to $24 and double sites from $20 to $48. Officials say the campground fees haven't gone up in more than 25 years. The public has until October 31st to comment on the proposal. Well, I know I won't be hiking or camping anytime soon in this monsoon weather.
I wouldn't plan on it, but we might have some chance to go hiking tomorrow and Friday because it looks like we're going to have clear skies. But first, we're going to take a look at tomorrow's highs. Here in Phoenix, our high tomorrow is going to be 103, same with Tempe and Chandler. And then across the board, we're going to be seeing those triple digits, which is not like today, unfortunately. But if you go up to Cave Creek and Whitman, they will be in those high 90s. Looking at the next couple days, again, we are going to get sunshine tomorrow and Friday, and then clouds coming in Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and then also on Wednesday. So we might see some rain later on this week, but not in the next couple days. And then our highs are going to be in those triple digits all week, with our lows being those high 80s. For your weather report, I'm Nikisha Johnson at Cronkite News.
I do feel brave, though, and strong, and happy.
Coming up, how a young girl's passion for life and sports has helped her through some of her toughest times.
Welcome to another edition of Cronkite Sports Now. I'm Taylor Rocha. Let's talk sports.
For the latest on local sports and beyond, we've got you covered.
Let's do this thing.
We challenge reporters to go beyond, a game story. We want stories with depth.
It's just a crucial step from the college experience into the professional experience while you're still in school.
At Cronkite Sports Now, watch the journalists of tomorrow cover sports today.
Stay in the know on the go. At Cronkite News, we work hard to report the facts and keep you updated, whether we're on set or on the scene.
Taking it from the studio to the field. So I'm here in South Phoenix.
In Phoenix, we're just a click away. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, or find us online at cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
From a multi-sport athlete to now spending her days in the hospital, this little girl is in the fight of her life.
Our reporter Emmy Keenan had the chance to get us an update on the all-girls baseball player Leighton Accardo.
The last time we saw Leighton Accardo, she had just found out about her malignant germ cell tumors and had to start chemotherapy immediately. Now, just 2 months later, she just finished up round 4 of treatment.
The 7-year-old was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer back in May, but that doesn't stop her from staying positive.
Yeah, sometimes I ask for popsicles while I get my chemo because I can taste it while it's running through my port.
Alongside all of her teammates, friends, and family, there's one person that she really inspires, her mom.
She's the one that looks at me and goes, as soon as this is over, I'm going to bounce right back and I'm going to be fine. I'm like, yeah, you are. I don't even need to say it to you. She goes, as soon as this tumor's out and it stops pushing on my left side, I'm going to be good. I go, I know. She really does just power through all of this. she's almost encouraging me more than I'm encouraging her. So she's amazing.
In what they call a chemo week, Leighton spends 5 days receiving treatment and then gets 2 weeks at home with her family. But when she is in the hospital, she says she still has fun.
And I'm even making a couple friends, even here.
One thing that keeps her positive is the notes that her night nurse leaves her to wake up to, something that she says leaves a smile on Leighton's face.
She's healthy, she's happy, she's a great patient. She's having a good go round.
After doctors found multiple masses throughout her abdomen, liver, and lungs, Leighton will meet with her surgeon on August 7th to set a date to take out the largest mass.
But I do feel brave, though, and strong, and happy.
Doctors say that she is responding well to treatment and her tumors are shrinking. Leighton has also been gaining her weight back since being diagnosed. Her family says she'll be back on the field in no time. Live in the studio, I'm Emmy Keenan.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
On the next Arizona Horizon, a debate on a Phoenix ballot measure designed to stop the expansion of light rail and how physical limitations are not stopping one group from enjoying their favorite sport. That's the next Arizona Horizon.
I'm John Yang at Virginia Tech in Blacksburg, Virginia, where researchers are working on a way to harvest water from fog. That's my report on the next PBS NewsHour.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
And have a great night.